What's up, fam? It's your boy Legend, and I'm back with another video. What if Naruto was forced to go back in time? If you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. The like goal for this video is going to be 6 likes as usual, so hit the like goal if you want the next part. Subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if. The sun had dipped beneath the tree line hours ago, the last golden streaks of daylight swallowed by the dense foliage of Fire Country's outermost forest. The trio walked in near silence, their footfalls muffled by damp soil and fallen leaves. Naruto led the group, his stride steady and sure, even as his gaze stayed fixed on the unseen horizon ahead. Behind him, Naruto Jr. trudged along with the lanky, uncoordinated awareness of early adolescence. And beside the boy walked Yugito, her arms crossed and her lips pressed into a hard line. There was tension in the air, raw, palpable, and unspoken. They were still technically in the land of fire, but only just. A few more hours of walking and they'd reached the western edge of the country, where the trees thinned and the ground dipped toward the coastline. Past that would be the ocean, stretching out like a living boundary. Once they reached the shore, they'd have to find a boat and sail across the strait that separated Fire Country from the misty realm of the Land of Water. The mission ahead was clear, but the emotional minefield between two of the travelers made every step feel heavier than it should have. Naruto said nothing, but the clench of his jaw, the quiet, calculated movements of his body as he pushed past low-hanging branches or stepped over protruding roots said everything. Yugito had hurt him. They both knew it. She wanted to talk, to apologize, to somehow undo the harsh words she had flung like a kunai in a moment of vulnerability and fear. But every time she looked at him, the courage in her chest shriveled like paper to a flame. When they finally stopped for the night, the last remnants of twilight had long since faded into the purplish black of early night. The forest thinned here near the coast, with salty air teasing through the branches, whispering of waves just a few miles away. They set up camp near a large flat boulder that overlooked the trickling stream. Naruto gathered firewood without a word while Junior and Yugito unpacked the bedrolls. But if the tension before had been bad, the quiet around their modest campfire was nearly unbearable now. It had tripled, no, quadrupled, and even the normally oblivious Junior could feel the gnawing at the edges of his senses. He sat cross-legged beside Yugito as she knelt over a freshly killed snake, showing him how to cut carefully along the belly and remove the skin without tearing it. Her hands moved with practiced grace, but her eyes kept flickering toward Naruto. He was a few feet away, crouched near the fire pit. He dug into the soil, coaxing a spark into life with a flint and steel. She stared at him like she wanted to say something, like she needed to, but each time the words began to form, fear crept in and choked her silent. Junior glanced between the two adults, confusion furrowing his brow. He could tell something was wrong, but didn't fully understand the cause. Finally, he reached over and gently touched Yugito's thigh to get her attention. He started awkwardly, glancing back at Naruto, who was now tossing dry twigs into the fire. Do you like Big Brother Naruto? Yugito's hand stilled, the knife in her grip freezing just inches from the snake's pale flesh. Her breath hitched, and she let out an exhausted sigh. Of course she liked Naruto. How could she not? He was strong, kind, charismatic, protective, scared, and broken. Sure, but in a way, that made her want to hold him, not walk away. He was everything she hadn't known she wanted until she met him. And then, like an idiot, she had gone and pushed him away out of fear, out of guilt, out of shame for the feelings that had taken root inside her when she wasn't ready to face them. Yeah, she admitted softly. I do, but I made a mistake. I accidentally hurt him. Now I don't know what to say or how to say it. I want to talk to him, but... Her voice trailed off as she looked over at Naruto again. Junior followed her gaze, then frowned. Maybe you should just say that. He's not scary. He's just sad, I think. Naruto didn't hear their conversation, or if he did, he made no sign of it. The fire was now a soft orange glow, and he sat beside it with a bottle of water, taking slow sips. After a moment, he reached into his bag and pulled out a ration bar, chewing on it absently before slinging a limp body of a dead rabbit over his shoulder. He laid it across a smooth rock and began to skin it and clean it with efficient motions. He didn't look up, not at Yugito, not at Junior, but he felt their eyes on him. The next morning, the cries of distant seabirds echoed faintly through the salty air as the small wooden boat rocked gently against a weathered dock. The sea stretched out before them in every direction, waves glistening under the late morning sun. Mist clung to the horizon like a ghostly curtain, hiding the distant shores of the land of water. Naruto handed a small pouch of ryo to the grizzled old man who owned the boat, nodding in thanks. The man mumbled something about strong currents before walking off without a backward glance. As the trio stepped onto the boat, Naruto paused and turned to Junior. Did you learn how to walk on trees and water yet? Junior nodded. Yeah, while Danzo kept me locked in that underground place, he said chakra control was a basic requirement. He drilled it into me. Naruto gave a short, approving nod and untied the mooring rope, pushing the boat away from the dock. As the vessel drifted free and Naruto took hold of the rudder, he reached into his bag and pulled out a stack of thin paper slips. It was chakra testing paper. He handed one to Junior. Force your chakra into this. Junior did as instructed, holding the paper in between his palms and pushing his chakra into it. The reaction was immediate. The paper split down the middle. One half crumpled to dust, while the other became damp and limp. Naruto's eyes widened. Wind, earth, and water? He muttered. A faint smile curled the edge of his lips. That's 3 elements. Wind's your base, but you've got earth and water affinity as well. Junior blinked. Is that good? Naruto chuckled. That's terrifying. Yugito, who had been sitting quietly across from Naruto, scooted closer until her thigh was brushing against his. Her expression was uncharacteristically soft. Can I try? We don't have chakra paper like that in Lightning Country. I already know I have fire nature, but I always wondered if I had anything else. Naruto passed her a paper. Yugito held it between her fingers and channeled her chakra. It split immediately. One side burst into flames, and the other side crumbled. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Fire, wind, and lightning. You've got a nasty mix too. Yugito gave him a sheepish smile. That's good, right? Before Naruto could respond, Junior leaned forward with excitement in his eyes. Wait, what about your chakra? You haven't tested it. Naruto sighed and raised an eyebrow at Yugito. I already know mine. But we don't, Yugito countered, a teasing edge to her voice. Naruto gave a long look before relenting. Fine. He held the slip of chakra paper between his fingers and focused his chakra. The result was instant and stunning. The paper split into 4 pieces. One turned to dust, one caught fire, another crumpled, and the other one became soggy. Yugito's mouth dropped open. Junior's eyes nearly popped out of his head. You have all 5 elements, Yugito breathed. That's impossible. Naruto returned to steering the boat as if he hadn't just defied natural law. I also have a few sub-elements, he added casually. Lava, magnet, boil, dust, yin and yang release. Junior gawked. Yugito stared like she was seeing him for the first time. And somewhere deep in her gut, the truth settled in with an almost terrifying weight. Who the hell are you, Naruto? She thought. She didn't know the half of it. She didn't know about the stormy night in Kumo when he wandered into the rain to scream to the heavens. She didn't know that in that moment of anguish, he had met the Sage of 6 Paths himself in astral form, and he had been chosen to be the next Sage of 6 Paths. She didn't know that she was sitting beside the man who now carried the legacy of the gods. The boat creaked as Naruto guided it into the small, unguarded dock. The land of water stretched out before them, its air cold and damp, thick with salt and a faint metallic ting. Mist clung to the earth like a second skin, veiling the trees, the shoreline, even their own feet. Naruto hopped off first, landing softly on the weathered boards of the dock. He tied the boat's rope to the nearest post in a tight knot, the motion fluid in practice. Yugito and Junior followed, stepping off of the boat with caution. As they left the wooden pier behind and ventured out the fog-covered path leading into the land of water's interior, the change in the atmosphere became immediately apparent. The air was heavy, thicker, with every breath saturated with not just moisture, but something else, something far more sinister. Blood. Yugito slowed her pace, nostrils twitching. Junior tilted his head, sniffing at the wind, and Naruto, several paces ahead, came to a sudden stop, his muscles tightening. Oh shit, he muttered, almost to himself. That brought the others to a halt. Yugito took a cautious step forward. What? What is it? Naruto turned slightly, his eyes hardening. I forgot a minor detail about the Mist Village. They're at war with themselves right now. The current regiment trying to wipe out all of its bloodline users. Yugito's expression darkened, one hand going to her forehead in frustration. You forgot that little detail? Before she could say more, Junior's eyes lit up, a wide grin spreading across his face. Yes! This is awesome! He cried, practically bouncing in place. Does this mean I'll get more training? Will I get real battle experience? Yugito looked at him in horror, her mouth opened slightly at the loss of words. The boy was excited to walk into a country at war, like like it was a game. She looked at Naruto, but he just chuckled, soft and resumed walking, brushing past the mist like it wasn't there. Junior scrambled to catch up, peppering him with questions about fighting techniques and chakra control. Yugito gave a low groan and followed after them, muttering something about boys and their broken brains. But their march forward didn't last long. Only 2 miles into the forest, the mist thickened, becoming unnaturally dense. The usual sounds of wildlife went quiet, and the hair on the back of Yugito's neck began to rise. She reached out with her chakra senses and felt a flicker, then another and another. Her throat tightened. What began as one chakra signature turned into 5, then 10. Within seconds, the number had spiked to 23. She opened her mouth to speak, only to realize Naruto was already slowing his pace. Junior, unaware, kept walking until Yugito tugged at his sleeve. "We're being watched," she whispered. "A lot of them." Naruto was perfectly calm, relaxed even. The oppressive mist was laced with chakra, thickening like a shroud, cutting visibility to barely an arm's length. Yugito tensed. She was from the land of lightning, open terrain, clear skies, fast strikes. This was the exact opposite of what she was trained for. Her vision blurred at the edges. Panic started to creep into her chest. It's hard to see," she murmured, half nervous, half hoping. Maybe the three of us should, hold hands?" Naruto looked at her, then saw the flicker of fear in her eyes. She wasn't built for mist warfare. She didn't know how to fight when she couldn't see her opponent. There were now 28 chakra signatures, all closing in around them. Without a word, he took her hand in his grip firm and grounding. Then, loud and clear, Naruto called out, "Hey, I know all 28 of you are out there. How about you stop hiding and come out? You suck at it, and you're scaring the woman with me. If we were threats, you'd all be dead by now." Yugito blinked. Junior stared, wide-eyed. For a few long seconds, there was only silence. Then, the chakra in the air shifted. The mist began to dissipate, thinning slowly like a veil being pulled back. Shapes emerged, shadows first, then figures in gray and blue, all armored, masked, some with weapons drawn. 28 shinobi revealed. They were all in a wide arc, positioned expertly in a semicircle. They were rebels. You could tell from the varied gear, the mismatched armor, the desperation in some of their eyes. One man stepped forward. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a ragged blue cloak over his armor, and an eye patch covering his right eye. His gaze was stern, his step deliberate. "Why have you come to the land of water?" the man demanded. Naruto casually pointed his thumb at Junior. "I need to train him in water manipulation. What better place to do that than the land of water, and the village hidden in the mist?" The man narrowed his eyes, scanning the trio carefully. "Now's not exactly the best time. There's a civil war going on between those with bloodline abilities and those without." Naruto shrugged. "I figured. I can smell it in the air." He gave a glance at the rebel group. "And going by the look of your men, you're losing. Need help?" That comment made several of the rebels tense, but the man didn't react right away. Instead, he raised his hand to a ram hand sign. "Byakugan." Behind the man's eye patch, the Byakugan activated, veins bulging on the side of his head. He deactivated the dojutsu immediately and took a step back, visibly shaken. Naruto stood there, glowing like a beacon of pure white chakra radiating from his form like moonlight. It didn't make sense. Chakra was supposed to be blue or orange for Jinchuriki, but Naruto was neither. It was white, pure white and massive, towering. It felt like standing in front of a mountain that had a heartbeat. The boy beside him also had a massive chakra pool, one that swirled orange. The woman, too. Hers was strong and wild, also swirling with the energy of a Jinchuriki. But Naruto, he wasn't just strong, he was something else entirely. The man lowered his head slowly. "Come with me," he said. "Our leader will want to meet you. All of you." Naruto gave a nod and started walking. He didn't let go of Yugito's hand. And Yugito, flustered but silent, walked alongside him, her fingers laced with his. Junior grinned and ran up beside them, practically vibrating with excitement. Naruto walked through the mist like it was his home, and none of the rebel shinobi dared to stop him. But guys, I'm going to end it off right there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.